I praise Allah, I glorify Him and I thank Him for guiding us to Islam, because Islam is the only true religion, the only valid religion. And I am grateful to Allah that we have been guided to the knowledge of Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah, which is the saved group. So we're going to continue on with defending the chosen, which is clearing up some misconceptions and fabrications that some people have said about the prophets, and clearing them of some of the bad things that the misguided people say. And that is because the prophets, they are the best of all creations, and to criticize or to discredit a prophet would be like discrediting the message. So the prophets are impeccable, the prophets are protected from all character flaws and all physical defects. No prophet was ever attributed with a physical defect or a character flaw. All the prophets, they are attributed with perfection, the human perfection. So we were talking about Prophet Sulayman alayhi salam, and what some people say about him that's not true. We mentioned that Prophet Sulayman, he had a special virtue that was given to him by Allah Ta'ala, which is that Prophet Sulayman, he had control over the jinn. And so he would order them to do things, and they had to do it, or else they would get punished. The punishment from Allah would come to them. So these devils, they did not like to be forced to do heavy labor, because they did a lot of heavy labor. So what they did is that after Prophet Sulayman died, alayhi salam, the devils, they didn't know that he died. They kept on working for a year without knowing that he died. And that proves that they used to claim that they were doing it on their own and that they weren't controlled by Prophet Sulayman, but in reality they were. And the proof for that, Allah Ta'ala exposed them, that they kept on working for a whole entire year, doing the heavy labor and doing the things that Prophet Sulayman alayhi salam told them that they had to do, like building tall buildings and doing hard labor. So the fact that they kept on working, not knowing that he died, it shows that they were under his control, because had it been by their choice and supposedly according to them they were doing it and they weren't being controlled, then this is something that proves that they were being controlled. So after they found out that he died, those devils, they wanted to say something bad about Prophet Sulayman alayhi salam. So those devils, they took a book of sorcery and they planted it under the throne of Prophet Sulayman alayhi salam. And so they lied to the people, those evil jinn, those demons. They went and lied to the people and told them that Prophet Sulayman was using sorcery to control them. And so they went and they showed the people, look what he has buried under his throne, and there was the book there found that they planted. So some of the people, they were misguided by that. We were mentioning the story about the two angels, Harut and Marut, that they were sent to warn the people against performing sorcery and to teach them the difference between sorcery and a miracle. So those two angels, they told the children of Israel, they told them, this sorcery, this is so that you know the difference between sorcery and a miracle. And it is not permissible for you to implement this sorcery. But some people, they took what they learned from those two angels, they disobeyed, and they did that sorcery. So this is the story that's mentioned in the Quran. This is a true story. Now there is some fabricated stories that some people mention in the books of tafsir that have no basis at all, and they are completely not true. They claim about two angels, those two angels that were sent down to teach the people about the danger of sorcery and the difference between sorcery and the miracle. The two angels were called Harut and Marut. So these two angels, they are two great angels. This is the truth about them. They're two great angels. And the angels, they never disobey Allah Ta'ala. And they always fulfill the order of Allah Ta'ala. And they always do what they are ordered. Hence, it is not true and it is not correct what some people say about the two angels, Harut and Marut. It's an ugly story. And subhanallah, no Muslim would believe that about two angels. But just to let you know that if someone thought that those two angels, Harut and Marut, that they are an exception to the rule, that they that even though they believe, like how it says in the Quran, that the angels, they don't disobey, but that these two angels specifically, if someone believed about them that these two angels specifically, they are an exception to that, and they did something bad or committed a sin, the person would not blaspheme just for that. So the false story, but the story is false anyways. So the point is, if someone read on their own and they looked and they saw this story and then they thought, oh, it must be that these two angels are an exception to that rule, then they would not blaspheme for that. But anyways, these stories are fabricated, they're not true. So we should not believe these stories. And we would say the person who believed that story about Harut and Marut, that they would be sinful if they thought that there was an exception, that these were an exception to the rule. But so the false story that some people say, na'udhu billah, they say that these two angels drank alcohol, got drunk, killed a baby that a woman was holding, and then they fornicated with her. Na'udhu billah. And we know that the non-Muslims, they do push that type of narrative. The non-Muslims, they claim that there is such a thing as fallen angels, and that supposedly these fallen angels, they had intercourse with women, and that they supposedly had offspring from that, and that these are like supposedly the giants and things like this. But none of that is true. The angels, they do not have a desire. The angels, they do not have a desire for eating or drinking or sexual desires. The angels, they do not have a gender. They're not male or female. They don't get married. They don't reproduce. They don't sleep. So angels are different types of creations in that sense. They don't have the carnal desires. So this story that some people said about these two angels, it is fabricated all the way. It is not true at all. And supposedly they claim that these two angels made prostration to an idol, and all of that is a lie, and all of that is absurd. We seek refuge with Allah Ta'ala from such an accusation about the angels. And so why we're saying this, because many mufassirun, many explainers of the Quran, they mentioned about this story, Harut and Marut, and that supposedly they are two exceptions for the impeccability of the angels, and this is a huge mistake, and it is unacceptable. Harut wa Marut malakani jalilan والملائكة لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون فليس بالصحيح ما يروى عنهما أنهما شربا خمرا فسكرا ثم قتلا طفلا كانت تحمله امرأة ثم ركبت فيهما الشهوة فوقعا عليها أي زنيا بها والعياذ بالله وسجدا للصنم بل هو كذب وخرافة والعياذ بالله تعالى. وما يذكره كثير من المفسرين في قصة هاروت وماروت أنهما مستثنيان من عصمة الملائكة فهو غلط أيضا غير مقبول. نعم لا يقبل مثل ذلك سبحان الله. So that's the story that some people, they say about Harut and Marut, na'udhu billah. They say very extensive, detailed things. They make up fabricated hadiths. We don't believe them at all. no angels would ever do those types of abhorrent things that are being mentioned there, subhanallah. So yeah, we exonerate those two angels, Harut and Marut, from that. Another thing that some people they claim about Prophet Sulayman alayhi salam, which is not true, is they claim that Prophet Sulayman alayhi salam, that he looked at the shins of Bilqis on purpose. Na'udhu billah. No prophet would ever look at something forbidden. So there's an ayah in the Quran, verse 44 of the chapter An-Naml, and it's mentioned what means that it was told to Bilqis to enter the building or the structure, and that when she saw it, she thought that the ground was water, and so she lifted up her dress so that it wouldn't get wet, and she showed her shins. After she saw this great palace, and she saw the buildings that were built for Prophet Sulayman alayhi salam, that he had them built, she embraced that Islam. And when she saw the glory of Islam and the power and the goodness that Prophet Sulayman alayhi salam had. In some books, they mention this planted story, this incorrect story, this false story, that Prophet Sulayman alayhi salam supposedly looked at the shins of Bilqis, and this is incorrect. Prophet Sulayman alayhi salam, he did not build this structure and made like the floor glass. He did not do that so that she could think it's water, so that she can lift up her dress, so that he can look at her shins. Na'udhu billah. This is incorrect and without a doubt false. We'll continue next week, inshallah. If there are no questions, we'll conclude.